Stardew Valley is a wonderful game. You get to live out a common fantasy of leaving the corporate world behind and reconnecting with nature on your own farm on your own terms. There are lots of things to do, lots of people to meet, and you can even marry some of them. But what happens if you don't marry anyone? Nothing. And I'm not really a huge fan of this. I feel like the townies should continue to have a life of their own across the years. But I'm not a programmer, so I don't know how complicated this is to code. Regardless, that's what I want to talk about today. Which characters should get with who if you don't marry them, or anybody, after 2 to 3 in game years? There are a total of 14 bachelors and bachelorettes, so let's get started. Starting off with Shane. Maybe this is a bit of a hot take because people feel very strongly about him in both directions, but I don't know if a relationship is good for him at this point in his life. Like, even when he gets sober, I don't know who I'd pair him with, but I'm very flexible on this point. Honestly, I just want to get him out of the way first. Moving on though, I think Sebastian and Sam should get together. I'm aware Sebastian is paired with Abigail in the flower dance, but I don't know, those guys are just a bit too similar for me, and I've got different ideas for Abigail as well. I know goth power couples are a thing, but neither are exactly goth, and they just give lavender marriage vibes, to be honest. Whereas Sebastian with Sam, these guys are more complementary. They follow some cute conventional tropes like black cat and golden retriever, they're bandmates, sort of sunshine and grumpy in a way. I don't know, I think they fit. Haley is a comp-het lesbian, and I will accept no other interpretation. She is just so much more interesting this way, and she just makes a lot more sense like this. And I would like to think that Leia was her lesbian awakening, especially because you know how Haley goes down to the water by Leia's house to do photography? There is just so much romance potential there, and I imagine her romance with Leia would play out similarly to the one with the farmer, because they're both farmers who hailed from the city and are just kind of sick of the city life. Also, both Haley and Leia have artistic hobbies, sculpting and photography, and I think Leia paints as well, but I could be mistaken. I just think they'd be like a really cute cottagecore couple with a dog and a cat. Because, okay, let's be real, Alex is Haley's beard, straight up. Like, they're literally the stereotypical cheerleader quarterback couple where they both end up gay in university. Speaking of Alex, however, I actually feel like he is more of a bisexual than straight up gay. Straight up gay. But yeah, to me, he's the type to be like, I'm fighting demons, and the demons are just bisexuality. Anyway, call me weird for this crack ship, but I feel like he and Penny could marry after he becomes normal, aka not a douchebag. I don't know, I feel like they can bond over complicated relationships with their moms, and Penny would really appreciate the loving family that Alex's grandparents would become. But Penny does give me strong closeted queer vibes. Like, she likes women, but she doesn't realize that for a majority of her life because she's so caught up with making ends meet, dealing with her mom's alcoholism, etc. Like, what is up with her and Maru, you know? You can see them sat next to each other by the community center and they hang out in Maru's room, but when you talk to them, they say that they don't know each other very well. Situationship, hello? But you know what, on that note, I did try to search this dialogue up on the wiki and Reddit, and I couldn't find anything. So did I hallucinate this? Does anybody else remember it? Because I feel like I could have sworn I've seen it, but now it's just disappeared. So I don't know. But anyway, Penny to me is the kind of sapphic woman who realizes she's sapphic well into her 40s, married with children, but it's only at that age that she actually gets some kind of time and mental space for herself to reflect and think of what she wants, not what she needs or what other people want. And going back to Alex, I think he'd have a similar timeline in realizing he's bi, as in he'd also realize it once their kids are grown up and they've just got time to do whatever. I feel like this would also make them closer and the relationship stronger. Maybe they have an amicable divorce, maybe they don't. I don't know. However, and I know I do really like the word however, I know that. If Penny realizes she likes women earlier, I think her and Maru together would make most sense since they already hang out all the time. They both really value knowledge, and I feel like they're already super supportive of each other's interests. Like, bookworm, STEM nerd, like they fit, you know? Similar to the Alex scenario, I imagine Penny would be embraced by Robin and Demetrius as well. I was originally gonna pair Maru with Harvey, because it did seem to me that there's a genuine connection between those two. But when I was digging in Maru's wiki page, I found that she straight up says that Harvey is not her type. So rest in peace, Harvey, because I think he does genuinely have a romantic interest in her. Moving on to Miss Abigail, she's another character who I actually think a relationship at this stage of life is not good for her. She gives me ace vibes low key, but she also likes girls. Like, okay, becoming a stay at home mom or wife for her at this point feels like kind of a bad ending. She clearly wants to go adventuring and exploring, and maybe she'll meet someone along the way who wants the same things as her. But right now, I don't think anybody in Pelican Town would be a good romantic match. Though, in terms of vibes, Emily does come to mind, but I have different plans for Emily. But she can be Abigail's Sapphic Awakening, I feel. And Emily, my dear Emily. She is my favorite townie, and I've married her in my last save. I love her so much. However, in this scenario, where the farmer doesn't marry these townies and a few years pass, I think she and Sandy would get together. Not only do they match in colors, like blue, red, blue, hello, but Sandy doesn't even really like it in the desert, it seems, based on her dialogue. She can sell her store to Mr. Key, and he can turn the whole building into a casino, and she opens up shop in Pelican Town, where she breathes new life into the community, and she becomes a lot happier, I feel. Can you imagine the kind of store they would run, though? I feel like it could be full of interesting trinkets and dubiously magical items, and like even Abigail could sell some of her found treasure or loot to them. On a side tangent, I really hope we get an update where we can properly go to Zuzu City and have some kind of storyline there that is introduced to us by Sandy. Maybe she's contemplating moving her business and we go help her scout there since it's likely a better business option, only for her to realize that what she truly wants is to move to Pelican Town to be closer to her friends Emily and the farmer. And since she'd sell her original store in the process, we can also get some more lore on Mr. Key, potentially? I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out here. Who's left? Oh yeah, Elliot. Man, I don't know about Elliot actually. He's one of those townies who I don't really care for, though that is starting to change since I downloaded a portrait mod that makes him look a lot less pretentious. And in this save where I'm using this portrait mod, I'm liking him a lot more. Anyway, though he is a romantic at heart, I don't know if I don't know if he'd find love in the town. I'm leaning towards no, honestly. And I don't really have any specific sexuality headcanons for him either. Like, he doesn't really strike me as the kind of guy who would really care about his partner's gender. Maybe after he makes it as an author, he meets another writer that he falls in love with. I feel like that would be really cute. And, oh my god. As I was finishing this up, like sort of brainstorming and coming up with ideas, I almost forgot about Harvey. I know he has recently become a favorite for a bunch of people, but I still don't really care for him. Like, I don't dislike him or anything. He's nice and he's genuine, and he's a town doctor. There's a charm in that. But he's frequently out of the way, so I've never really seen his heart events, even when I've gotten high hearts with him. Like, I give him coffees when I see him or whatever, but, you don't really have a reason to go into the clinic if you're not romancing Harvey or Maru. So yeah, I don't really see too much of his character, like, organically. He's very sweet though, but like Elliot, I don't know if he would find love in the town. Maybe those two get together? I feel like they'd be good friends at least. I don't know. And now that is truly everybody covered. I had a lot of fun coming up with ideas for these characters' futures, and I hope you've enjoyed your time as well. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next video.